From the very first day you take creatine, something subtle but powerful begins beneath the surface, long before you notice anything in the mirror. Most people treat creatine as a vanity supplement, imagining it only builds biceps, but strictly biologically speaking, it is a fuel source for your body's most demanding machinery. When you ingest that first 5 grams, your body doesn't bloat. That is a myth. Instead, it initiates a biochemical shift. Your muscle cells begin absorbing the molecule like a resource they've been starving for. In the first 24 hours, the primary change is intracellular hydration. This is often misunderstood. You aren't retaining water under your skin, which makes you look puffy. You are pulling water inside the muscle cell. This is a critical distinction. It's like tuning a car engine. You haven't changed the car yet, but the internal mechanics are suddenly lubricated and ready for heat. Your mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, sense this increase in resources and begin to operate with higher readiness. You won't feel a caffeine-like jolt, but the foundation for what comes next is being laid. The energy currency, day 2 to day 7. As you continue through the first week, we have to talk about the mechanism. To understand why you eventually get stronger or smarter, you have to understand ATP. ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, is the energy currency of life. Every time your heart beats, your neurons fire, or you lift a grocery bag, you spend a coin of ATP. The problem is that you only store enough ATP for a few seconds of intense activity. Once it's gone, you fatigue. This is where creatine acts as an energy recycling partner. When ATP breaks down into ADP, a useless spent molecule, creatine donates a phosphate group to it, instantly recycling it back into fuel. During this first week, your body is building up a reserve of this spare change. You're moving from a scarcity economy to a surplus economy. You might not lift 50 pounds more yet, but chemically, your cells are no longer guessing where their next burst of energy is coming from. The brain and productivity. Week 2. Here is the part most fitness channels skip, but it fits perfectly with why you watch this channel. Your brain is one of the most metabolically expensive organs you possess. It consumes 20% of your energy despite being only 2% of your weight. By week 2, as saturation levels rise, creatine isn't just sitting in your quads, it is crossing the blood-brain barrier. Neurons rely heavily on ATP for signaling. When you run out of mental energy, that brain fog you feel at 2 p.m., it is often a metabolic failure. Studies have shown that creatine supplementation can improve working memory, reaction time, and resistance to mental fatigue, particularly in people who are sleep-deprived. Vegetarians and vegans often see the biggest spike here as their baseline creatine levels are naturally lower. You don't need more motivation, you need more ATP. The physical transformation, weeks 3 to 4. By the end of the first month, the saturation phase is complete. Your stores are full. Now, the physical transformation becomes visible. Because your muscle fibers are better hydrated intracellularly, they are under more mechanical tension. This signals your body to increase protein synthesis. You recover faster. The soreness from a workout vanishes a day earlier. Because you have that recycled energy we talked about, you can push harder in your workouts. You get that extra rep or run that extra minute. Over time, this isn't just water weight, it is actual tissue growth driven by a higher work capacity. Strength always precedes shape, and creatine accelerates that sequence. Busting the kidney myth. Before we look at the long-term effects, we have to address the elephant in the room. Is this killing your kidneys? This fear comes from a misunderstanding of a blood marker called creatinine. When doctors test your kidneys, they look for creatinine as a waste product. If it's high, they worry your kidneys aren't filtering. However, when you take creatine, your body naturally produces more creatinine waste simply because you are processing more energy. It is a false positive. For healthy individuals, the science is robust. Creatine does not damage the kidneys. It simply makes the markers look slightly different because your baseline has changed. The long term, the new normal. So, what happens after months or years of daily use? You enter a state of high-performance homeostasis. You aren't getting infinite energy, but you have raised your baseline. You rely less on glucose spikes for energy and more on sustained phosphocreatine stores. You preserve muscle mass as you age, which is the #1 predictor of longevity. You maintain cognitive clarity during stressful periods. Creatine is not a magic steroid. It is simply a molecule that optimizes the fundamental biology of how your cells produce power. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the hard science, make sure to like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments, did you know about the brain benefits, or did you think this was just for the gym? See you in the next one.